Well, hello, my faithful viewers. I was going to save this for tomorrow, but after I did Trump's chances to win, I got so curious. I have just needed the time to look at you know who, Bernie Sanders. Really exciting, very exciting aspects. So, so we're going to let the aspects decide. And it feels like a, a horse race. I mean, you can feel the horses running down to the wire, and it's really a toss-up. So let's look at the transits for November 3rd, 2020, because we're supposed to be in the roaring 20s. Let me know when it becomes roaring and not scary. Okay, this is his chart. In some previous videos, I went over his natal chart and what makes him such, I guess, a hot tamale. he has, um, he's a Virgo. He has Scorpio rising, and he has an Aries moon. Let's look at the aspects. Remember these three planets that are all congregated in the last degrees of Capricorn, and just commit, just get this picture. You know, Jupiter, the great beneficent, Pluto, the guy who comes in and blows everything up, and it's also the plutocrat, and Saturn, the great restrictor, and also the guy who lays the foundation for new things. Look at Neptune up here, 26 degrees of Virgo. It is trying this little trio down here. This is like the great trifecta. and the Neptune trines the descendant and a sextile the ascendant, and the trifecta here is trine, trine, trine. That's a grand trine, like that. Okay, so that looks good. The thing that worried me was there were so many retrograde planets in his solar art um, solar art progress chart. So let's draw that up, because this is a win right now. This is a win, and it everything says no because of the DNC. And the DNC decided that they decided to get behind the scenes and pull some funny stuff for a good reason, by the way. I mean, we're facing the end of our country if we can't convince uh, moderate Republicans that Trump is, it's I have no words. So I have to let the astrology do the talking. Here's the secondary progressed. Um, Once again, we have this Neptune in his solar art progress is pretty much in the same place as his natal Neptune trining the descendant. Uh, the one thing that has happened is these planets here in early Aquarius and late. Sorry, I can't. My vision is not good because of the glare from where I am. It won't come out that way on the YouTube. In uh, Taurus and very at the first degree of Aquarius, and these two planets have gone retrograde in the secondary chart. When you combine Uranus and Saturn together, that is a heart issue. And that is what happened a couple months ago on the campaign trail. Bernie bounced back, but he might not be able to, because this is because of the aspects, because of the chart. These two aspects to your ascendant. I was going to move someplace once that I really liked, but my ascendant fell on a Uranus Saturn combination, and I didn't do it. Just didn't do it. Like, I don't think so. That's one right reason I do astrology. Um, so he is going to continue having problems. You know what's going to be a great chart? I'll see if I can dig up Jane Sanders' chart. I'm a great fan of his wife. That will tell the story. And if you remember the transits, the trifecta, Jupiter is right on 21 degrees of Capricorn, and this is the progressed Venus. So you have kind of this great energy in the later degrees of the Earth signs, and it makes grand trines all over the place. This is another little booster with the Sun at 4 degrees of Sagittarius in a trine to the natal Pluto at 5 degrees of Leo. So that's kind of a nice little trine. This is kind of consistent in his chart. The thing that I pointed out in the last charts I did was that there's some retrogrades here. Since he was born, he had direct Pluto, now retrograde Pluto. The same is true for Uranus and Saturn and Jupiter. So I do believe with all those retrograde planets, this is what's making this a real horse race. I mean, Bernie is out right now because of, not totally out, but because of what DNC did to I think most people understand why they did the behind the scenes finagling to get people like Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. There were so many of them. Got all the candidates that were running to stand behind Joe Biden, and because if Trump wins again, that's the end of our country. So Bernie was kind of put on the back burner. The same thing that happened during the last election, and the DNC was monkeying around, and we ended up with Trump. So that was good. Let's see what else we've got. I have visions sometimes. I did 2 years ago. I saw a woman in blue from the Northeast and a blue wave, and I made some videos called the Blue Wave Ladies. I saw a powerful black woman from the deep, dark red South rise up in a state like Georgia, and who do we get? Beautiful Stacey Abrams. She's a bright star on the horizon, and one of the ladies in blue for the blue wave was Ocasio-Cortez, and I had a whole vision of kind of when you saw the 1917 revolution in Russia, and they had I think I once saw a movie like this, a young rebel with wire rimmed glasses running across a frozen tundra, and you hear gunfire, and then you see blood, and you see nothing but some crushed glasses in the snow with blood. And I had the worst feeling that somehow this all played together with a young rebel and a lady in blue, but the glasses were stepped on in the snow, like a revolution. So, but whoever this was in my vision was good. It's like the good guys, but they got crushed. So we're gonna wait and see. It was just like a dream, and except some things came true, like Stacey Abrams and uh, AOC. So these are some bright things, and it's kind of clear that I saw a picture like these two, except he was a young rebel. I think he still is, and a blue wave. So let's see. Back to my vision. I just thought, wait a minute. Donald Trump was a product of a Russian from Russia with love. The Russians are actually winning in this whole debacle, and now we will have it. Will it take a team like AOC and Bernie to be the rebels and win the war? Maybe that's why I saw this take place in a kind of a Russian melodrama revolution. So we'll see. It's an interesting. We all have these little visions once in a while. Um, the most exciting thing about this chart is uh, solar arc progressed Jupiter. If you don't know solar arcs, you're ready to learn something wonderful. And the solar arc Jupiter is coming has right on his midheaven. Here's another little tidbit. Solar arc moon is in direct trine to the nadir sextile the midheaven. So that's pretty exciting. It makes for a real that's like having a bright star on you. The one thing that is in all of the charts, Neptune is somewhere mucking up things, which shows that we're in for some messiness. 15 degrees of Virgo is the progress of the regular natal sun, and the solar arc Neptune is in square of that. And that's like poor health, deceit, undermining, loss of reputation, and it's everything that these elections can be. And I saw that Pluto was just passing over his natal Venus. That's usually a pretty fiery experience with a woman, and it is in opposition to his Mars, and so I wondered if that is way too much of a big fight. And I did think about Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, and that maybe it could be that, but this is a bigger fight. It would be with a woman. I don't know who that could be. Time will tell, because I just, Elizabeth Warren is a wonderful person. So whatever this is a big hoorah with a woman. Mars, Venus, Pluto. That's also like, if he were younger, that's like a red hot love affair that is boiling over. It doesn't that doesn't quite fit Bernie's profile right now. So this will be an interesting race. I'm hoping that maybe some other astrologers can lend light to this menagerie of aspects, people, politics. The drama is unbelievable. This is way beyond normal. And I do feel, unfortunately, if Bernie Sanders has such a good chance of winning, with the drawbacks that I saw in his chart, this is somebody, he's winning the race, but somebody's throwing rocks in his backpack. He has a chance, a really good chance. The problem is that those that Saturn and Uranus on his descendant, that's a heart attack. Um, and it also affects his wife. So if he does have another heart attack, Jane would certainly be affected, and she's a extraordinary person. And so we're going to have to wait and see. Right now, I would have to call it for Trump, which of course breaks my heart. It's very hard to be objective. Bernie has every chance if the DNC doesn't screw things up. But that's more on the political side. And as an astrologer, it's just best to look at the aspects and how do they look. Um, I'd have to tip the scale to Donald Trump. And let me tell you something. If an egg were bouncing on the roof of a barn, and it could go one way or the other, roll to one side and roll to the other, it's going to just be like a little feather that will come and push it. It's not it's push it one way or another. As for Joe Biden, he doesn't have the good aspects for his health, his reputation, etc. I think he's a decent human being, but um, we have we have, like right now in contention, we have uh, all men. How old are these guys now? 75, mid 70s, running for office for the hardest thing that they could possibly do. Of course, I wish Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders the best, but I do feel like Joe Biden's health is failing, and Bernie has all the spunk to take on Trump. I would love to see Bernie Sanders in a debate with Trump. It'd be great. I mean, I think you can use your imagination. Just use your imagination, and because Bernie will just shred him up. And the Russians want Bernie Sanders to win because they feel like the redneck portion of our society wouldn't be able to stand this something socialist. They're much happier with people becoming buddies with Russia. I I cannot explain that. You're afraid of socialism? Just go make pals with the Russians. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with, a kind of mentality that is, it might finish us off. We're going to see Bernie has every chance. However, if Bernie does win, he won't finish that term. That whoever he picks as his running mate will end up being president. And we don't know who those choices are right now, at least not now. So I would like to get back to the roaring 20s. Um, I'm still waiting. So I am doing a series on the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm doing the good guys charts and the bad guys charts. How to spot these people in your life for the good and the bad. And it's lots of fun. And I'm also doing the Galactic Center, which is a lot of, it's a point in later Sagittarius that is fantastic. It's it is the one thing that holds real hope for the future, um, and some more on the yugas, which also shows great time spans, and it shows a wonderful future. We have a wonderful future showing up, but right now we're in a dissolution where Yogananda predicted this, the Mayans predicted this, and it's happening. And we will experience dissolution, not complete annihilation, but a little annihilation. And this was predicted by astrology, Mayan astrologers, also people that do astrology. They could see this coming up. They could see the train coming. um, but the overall yugas, which I did a YouTube one that shows large time spans after this period of upheaval, we will have we entered the golden age. It's very exciting. This is going to be an exciting ride. It's just a little tough when it's your country. So stay tuned. I'll do some more on the yugas, the galactic center, the good, the bad, and ugly. And well, there's a few. You have good, bad, and ugly in your life. How do you spot them? And how do you know? Do you want these people in your life? You want to have the boss, the new boyfriend, our new mother-in-law that would, be one of these people. Not everybody fits into the really bad, but there's a lot of good people and some very exciting people. I'm doing Mother Teresa. You're not going to believe it, but Bill Gates he is just about to come into even more money. Is that possible? And he is going to do some good. So long. I'll see you later, and stay tuned.